Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pinstripe People, a Yankees podcast presented by the Believe Network and sponsored by FanDuel. I am Sal Maiorana, who is not in a good mood. That is Mike Lindsley over there in Syracuse. Probably not in a great mood either, but I think Mike takes this less seriously than I do. So my blood's been boiling literally since Wednesday night watching this stupid Yankees team try to hit a baseball like the Bad News Bears before Kelly Leak showed up. Mike, this is a bad baseball team. I am so sick and tired of hearing people say, yeah, the American League sucks. Of course, the Yankees are going to go to the playoffs. They're probably going to go to the Mike. They are part of the reason why the American League sucks. They suck as an offensive baseball team. I am so sick and tired of watching this team try to hit and try to score. It's gotten to a pathetic stage for the Yankees, how bad they are on offense. Give us your opening thought on this putrid team right now.
It's been brutal. And you know what's amazing too is the American League argument for how bad it is. It's been going on for a long time. And I've talked with people like you, Matt, Michael, Kevin Kernan, Scott Petoniak, all my Yankee people, right? Scott Petoniak. And we've constantly talked about how the Yankees haven't taken advantage of the bad AL. They didn't take advantage of a bad AL when their offense was better than this. This offense is dreadful, and it's so hard to watch. I think, yeah, you're right. I don't take it as seriously as you game to game because I don't have any expectations. I think when you don't have any expectations, it makes it easier. But there's two big things that came out of this White Sox series. You win the first couple of games, and you're really feeling good. And then you get Schlittler, and he dominates, and you're up by 3 runs with 5 outs to go. And the rest of the series goes in the dumper. I think that's the big thing. I mean, the offensive side, okay, they did figure out a way to get 4 runs in that game, which the Yankees is like 12 runs. Yeah. And you have your ace, and then sometimes in a 4-game series, Sal, when you win the 3rd game and your ace shuts them down after you've won twice, that next game, I'm not saying it's just kind of like a formality that you're going to win. And we talk about how hard it is to sweep teams, but sometimes you get into that afternoon and the other team's kind of mentally cooked. Well, the other team was given new life instead because they came back in game 3. Those would have been the things that frustrated me.
All right, I mean, we can backtrack briefly because it started well. The Yankees won the first 2 games of the series. This is a White Sox team that's in first place in the AL Central. Now, that's not saying a whole lot. It's the AL Central, right. And as we just said, it's the American League. But they got off to a 3-0 deficit in the first inning of that first game. But then their offense woke up. They put up 9 runs. Ali Sanchez, of all people, hits a put-away 3-run homer, first of his career, and they win the first game. So like, okay, that's a good win, good way to get it started.
Yep.
9 runs was kind of an outlier, obviously, for this team, but it was good. And then the next night they win 3-2. They get a great pitching performance from Garrett Cole, who looked like the Garrett Cole from 2022, the way he was throwing. Bednar gave up the 2-run homer in the 9th that made it close, the first time he's been scored on in 3 months, but still they pull out the win. But then, Mike, holy shit, Wednesday, I was over at my buddy Mike Catalana's house. He lives right across the street from St. John Fisher, and he had a bunch of us over after the first day of Bill's training camp. One of the guys from Buffalo is leaving to go to Phoenix, so we had this little get together. He's got an outdoor TV, really cool little setup too. And he had, of course, for me, the Yankees game on. Everything was fine. We're having pizza. We're drinking. 20 of us are conversing. Schlittler, 77 pitches through 6 innings. I thought he was going to go through complete game shutout. It seemed inevitable. And they hit the 4 runs in the first inning. Spencer Jones hit the 3-run homer. Mike, luckily for the guests at the party, when Antonacci hit the home run that made it 4-3, I was just walking out the door. And before I got to my car, Murakami hit the tying home run. So they didn't witness my meltdown over the way that game turned. And then we can talk about what happened in those last 5 innings, because that was Mike, those last 5 innings, I could write a novel about how bad that went. Give me your thoughts on how it all changed in that 7th and then 8th inning.
Well, all I thought about was wasted start. Can't waste games. We're almost to August, like clown baseball, like you're dominating the game and you just let the game go away. And I can just, by the way, Catalana's talked about his great setup in my shows before. So I got to get to the Catalana compound. And I can just see Sal as a baseball sicko like I am, where when you go from the TV to the car, he goes, makes sure before he walks to the car to have it on an app, puts it in the pocket during commercials, starts the car, commercials are over, Sal puts the phone back up here and he drives home. I can just see that happening, by the way, because I run around the house all the time with stream games on my phone because my kids control my TV all the time. But as far as after the Murakami home run, and by the way, he's so strong. And he's another one of these guys. I know everybody in baseball is hitting between 220 and 240. I get it. Even the great Manny Machado, who could end up in the Hall of Fame one day, where I was again yesterday, he's only hitting 205, 210 or whatever. But the strength of Murakami to take that pitch the other way. And you're right. Garrett Cole had the big time start, a couple days ago. Bednar just gave it up. I mean, the kid just made a great swing on it. Sometimes it happens. Murakami did that. The White Sox did that late in innings in games 2 and 3, but then the wheels fall off, and it just seems like it's so easy. And I'll turn it back over to you with the catcher play and all these other things going on. But it seems like it's so easy sometimes for a team that just routinely screws up to just have it fall apart in late innings where you're like, okay, what dumb thing can you do right now to make this thing go away? And that's kind of what happened for the Yankees, by the way, after they had already blown the lead.
Yeah. The game turned to the 7th inning. Schlittler finally buckled the bid. He had a walk and a hit by pitch. And then Andrew Benintendi. Mike, this guy, I can't stand this guy more than probably any player. He has killed the Yankees since his Red Sox days. He gets the RBI double that started the rally. And then, as we said, in the 8th inning, Paul Blackburn, who's been great, incredibly great, surprisingly great all year, back-to-back pitches, and the game was tied. They get to extra innings. Now, Mike, they don't score in the 10th inning. So that meant 9 straight innings with zeros for the Yankees offense. Again, this game should never have even gotten to extra innings. They ended up going 3 for 16 with runners in scoring position in this game. Anyways, bottom of the 10th, Tim Hill, wild pitches, the free runner to third base. Immediately, the game's about to be over. Somehow he gets out of it. So now you're thinking, okay, Yankees got some life. They do get a run in the 11th finally. Of course, it took them 2 outs to get the run in. And God forbid they get a hit. So they wasted a rally. They got the run in, but they only get 1. As you know, in extra innings, you got to get more than 1 because the other team's probably going to match. But, Mike, let's talk about how they matched that run in the 11th inning, okay? I mean, it might have been one of the craziest innings we've seen all season. Camilo Doval's out there because they have no other choice. Their bullpen is completely wiped out, gassed. So they got to trust this guy to get out of it. He almost throws a bunt away. Goldschmidt makes an unbelievable pick, or the game would have been tied right there. The guy would have scored from second. Mm-hmm. Then McMahon makes an incredible play with the infield pulled in on another grounder. So now there's 2 outs. He goes 2-0 to the next batter, and Ali Sanchez and Ryan McMahon decide it was a good idea to try to pick the free runner off third base, who was Murakami. Sanchez throws the ball into left field. Tie game. I mean, Mike, as I referenced before, this was the Bad News Bears when Lupus was the star of the team before Kelly Leak showed up with his cigarette and started hitting home runs. That's how bad that play was. I talked for a long time there. Give me your thought on how stupid that. Just get the goddamn batter. You got 2 outs. Just get the batter out. And he tries to pick him off and threw it away. Unreal.
This was so prototypical of both the Yankees just in general and the Yankees in extra innings, where it's just you dread watching them. Oh, wait, there's more. It's also prototypical of clown baseball, Manfred's baseball, who, by the way, declined an interview with me this past Sunday in Cooperstown. I caught him on the street. He was limping around. I dread watching the extra innings. I hate the ghost.
Horrible.
I
They're 1-8. They're 1-8 now.
I hate the ghost runner. I hate watching the Yankees in extra innings. I hate watching most teams in extra innings. Sal, listen, if I didn't have to do this show, I may just, when they get there, I kind of just like, I make a decision like, do I just not do this? Because it's dreadful. You just wait for bad things. Most teams can't get hits. Most teams can't make contact. Most teams can't get the runner home. And the Yankees can't do anything in extra innings. This was also another example of the world we're in for baseball, where there needs to be a reminder of you're here, 60 feet, 6 inches. And when you need the out, your out is there. Like it's right straight ahead of you, right? There's that Johnny Padres Campanella, 60 feet, 6 inches outside the Hall of Fame, right? I feel like taking these guys in the modern game and taking them out there. You stand here, and there's first base, there's third base, and when all this chaos is going on, and tell the catcher, of course, 100 times, no, just get the batter, right? Like just focus on the batter. And maybe that's just not something that happens anymore. Like there's not a reassurance to a batter of, hey, just get there. Hey, just make contact. The guy going out to a pitcher and, hey, just battle, make your pitches, make your swings, all that stuff. Is that reinforced in the extra innings? Probably not. Like just focus on the batter, man. Just every single time out when you only need one out and they're already giving the other team somebody at second base, just focus on the batter. And if there's any team in Major League Baseball that just can't do that, it's your New York Yankees, Sal Maiorana.
Yeah. I mean, I just couldn't believe that. And then what was even worse, Mike, is after they lose the game, okay, because they go to the 12th inning, they load the bases, and of course they couldn't get the run in. With one out, still couldn't get a run in. And then Yarborough comes in again. There's nobody left to pitch. He was actually the last guy. They would have had to go to a starting pitcher if he couldn't have got, if the game had gone 2 more innings. Anyways, two pitches, game was over. They lose. What was even worse about the Sanchez McMahon play, Mike, was the post-game locker room where they're all defending the play. McMahon, Sanchez, and even Boone said, well, we just got to play catch better there. No. The decision to make the play was the problem. The execution was obviously faulty and horrendous and, again, little league shit. But the decision to try to make the play, and these guys all ignore the point. That's what pissed me off more than anything else.
Of course. But, again, that's where we're at. Players, they just sugarcoat this stuff. There's no accountability. And then the manager, cool uncle, he supports that. That's kind of where we're at in today's baseball, is that when this kind of stuff happens, that's kind of the cycle. I will tell you that another big part of this is that when you have the Yankees in a spot like this, I would almost, keyword being almost, I would almost be okay with one of these games being, of epic proportion from a comical standpoint, and then the other one being, error filled, but then they hang on. Why? Because you win the series. You're almost like, well, they still won the game, right? What's the end goal? Well, you want to win the game. You win 3 or 4, but that's not what happened, Sal. They blew a lead with Cam Schlittler. Then they lose that game. Then they lose again the way they did yesterday. So they end up splitting a series in which in the first 2 games, you're feeling really good. Especially you get a Cole start, you get a Schlittler start. You feel good about the bullpen. Again, like I said, you scored 4 runs at one point. But then you end up losing the last 2. So it's almost like you could understand and accept another blunder or 2 or 3, an extra inning one. If you had just won 3 of 4, you'd almost be like, well, that's the Yankees. Let's move on. You got wins, but that's not what happened either.
Yeah, it was one of the worst losses of the season.
Yeah,
for a couple of the beat guys thought it was the worst loss. Now I can go back and find even a few more that were worse than that.
We'll find them.
We'll find them. But it was that they could have been up 3-0 in that series. They would have been within a game and a half of the Rays, stayed a game and a half of the Rays. Instead, they were 2.5 back, and now they're 3.5 back, Mike, because they lost again on Thursday. The goddamn Rays, they never lose. It's unbelievable. Yeah. Then I go to bed last night, right? Early, because I'm tired, Red Sox were down in, I don't know, 3-0 or something.
Yep.
I wake up, look at the phone. They won. They came back and won again. They never lose. Would you believe, Mike, they're 3.5 behind the Yankees. The Yankees are now as close to the Red Sox as they are the Rays. It's unbelievable. If this continues, I just wrote it in my newsletter. If this continues, this could go down as one of the all-time greatest Yankee collapses. Because do you see an end to it? I mean, right? I know it's hard to see the tree through the forest. I understand that right now, and they're going through it. But I mean, Boone, we could talk about the cool uncle right here. In fact, you call him the cool uncle because that's what he is. Finally, yesterday, I saw a little flame coming off his face when he wasn't yelling at an umpire. He actually did get pissed in the post-game presser because he understands this offense is terrible. I hate when he says we need to score a point. It's a run. Score a run, dude. It's not a point. Don't be the cool uncle. Get the terminology right. But then when somebody asked him, I think Randy Wilkins asked him about, the trade deadline, he got pissed. Yeah. He got pissed, and he basically said, we got to take care of business. Whatever's going to happen Monday is going to happen. But I'll tell you what, Mike, privately to himself, he is wishing and praying that Brian Cashman is going to overturn this team at the deadline. They need to bring in major league hitters. And it was good to finally see him get a little bit pissed off yesterday. Give me your thought on that.
Yeah, well, he's done that a little bit as the years have gone on. And I think maybe it's just because, as a Yankee manager, whether it's cool uncle or not, analytics or not, GM running the team or not, right? Phoning down lineups, whatever the heck's going on behind the curtain, eventually it wears you down. And I talked to Dusty Baker about this past weekend at the Hall of Fame. If people want to hit up my Mike Lindsley NYS channel, it's a good little, you learn what Dusty said, because Dusty knows, right? He'd been around the game a long time, and he's going to go into the Hall of Fame here in about 5 years or whatever. But maybe just eventually you get worn down, and the Yankee manager job will do that to you. No matter how safe your job is, you're going to get a little ticked off. He did that with Jazz. We were both surprised that he did that with Jazz with a lollipop. Yeah. And it's interesting because when Boone did that, I immediately thought of what's going on in Philadelphia with all the drama coming out the doors with Bryce Harper saying we need help. And then Mattingly going, whoa, 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 defending the players and the executives. Hello, his GM's son being one of them. So
that's right.
But I'm not surprised once in a while when Boone, kind of lips off and this and that. It is what it is. As they say, he's going to do that once in a while. It's just that 98 out of 100 times he's going to be, cool uncle guy. But look, as far as the question about the Red Sox and all these other things, I don't know, Sal. We have 2 more months to go in the season. And for the Boston Red Sox to win like they did with that win streak, they could easily lose 8 of 10. And also the Chicago Cubs went through 2 monster win streaks. They had a couple of big losing streaks. As you know, you watch the Cubs closely. And I really like that team. In fact, I heard multiple people yesterday say that they now think the Cubs, along with the Brewers, not the Phillies, are the biggest threat to the Dodgers in the NL. So this stuff goes all over the place. Keep in mind that 21 or 22 teams out of all the big league teams in Major League Baseball have a real fighting shot at something. And that's why the Detroit Tigers really have to say, hey, wait a minute now. What do we do with Tarek Skubal? Because if we do go on a Red Sox-like heater in August, what does that mean for us? That means that we could keep Skubal, and then if we get into the postseason, that means we get into October, and he's our only chance, right, to shut people down and win. Next thing you know, the Detroit Tigers are a major factor. Teams go up and they go down, and they go up and they go down. The only thing with the Yankees is I don't see the Yankees. If I had to crystal ball it, I don't see the Yankees winning 12 of 14 because still they cannot score runs. I mean, at least with these teams like Boston, and you look at, Detroit's offense at least has more pop than the Yankees, right? I mean, you got Conical, you got Torres, you got some guys who can provide 4 or 5 runs a game. The Yankees can't get runs to save their lives consistently for a built win streak. They have pitching, but they don't have the offense. So, look, your question, I could see the Red Sox doing another streak that they did. I could see them having a losing streak. There's going to be all this jumbled mess for another 2 months because that's how baseball is now. It's how it's set up.
Thursday, they scored no runs through 9 innings. Thankfully, neither did the White Sox, as Ryan Weathers pitched a great game. Weathers has been up and down. He really has. He's been up and down. You never know what you're going to get from him, but he was really good yesterday. 3 hits, 3 walks, no runs. Terrific performance. Hedrick does what he does. Shavy comes in, got through the 9th with no problem. They finally score a run in the 10th inning, right? Grisham, of all guys. You
all
realize Grisham, I wasn't even really realizing this until they said it. He was 3 for 45 going into the game yesterday.
I know.
3 for 45.
I know.
And there's the face of the offense right there. He
Amazing.
Gets an RBI single to give them the lead. Of course, Benintendi comes up again and ties the game in the 10th inning. And then, of course, they go on to the 11th. And Fernando Cruz lost the strike zone. He goes to 3-0 on the last two batters. He got the first guy amazingly with the guy on third base, the winning run. And then he walks the other guy in 4 pitches to end the game. 2-1 loss, Mike. They scored. They were, for the 2 games, they were 4 for 31 with runners in scoring position. Okay. 4 for 31. And Mike, 2 of those came in extra innings when they get a free runner. Okay.
Yes.
Or I'm sorry. They scored, of the 23 runs, they only scored in 3 innings. And 2 of those were extra innings when they have a free runner at second base. And then there was the 4 for 31 debacle with runners in scoring position, 1 for 15 yesterday. Mike, you wonder why they're 1-8 in extra innings? Because you have a runner in scoring position immediately, and they can't get them in. They cannot. It's almost incredible to watch. And I disagree with you on that. I know we have always disagreed on this point. I'm fine with the Manfred Man because to me it spurs action. You immediately have action and tension when a man's on second. Mike, if they didn't have the free runner, the Yankees might play 15 or 16 inning games. Seriously, because how are they going to score? How are they going to score in extra innings? Well, so I'm fine with that rule. But anyways, the Yankees are 1-8. They suck in the extra innings because they can't hit with runners in scoring position. And I wrote this morning too in my newsletter. You could talk about all the bullshit we just talked about, the stupidity, the dumb plays, the bullpen blowing it. They lost these 2 games because they were 4 for 31 with runners in scoring position. Period.
Of course, they've lost most games through October because they can't hit with runners in scoring position. See, this is the one area where baseball drives me absolutely nuts. Because for 162 games and then potentially whatever it is in the postseason, 20-ish, we say the same thing. That's where it's like, okay, what am I going to say today? Like I said it Tuesday, I said it Thursday, I said it all May, I said it all June, I said it all August, and then the playoffs start, and then I text with all my buddies, and I'm like, hey, and they're like, oh, what do you think of the Yankees in October? I'm like, I think the same thing I told you about 5 or 6 years ago, and 4 years ago, and 3 and 2, and last month, and last week, and because it's the same thing. They cannot hit with runners in scoring position. They haven't been able to forever. It's when in October, 2 guys are on with 1 out, and Giancarlo Stanton's up, and he flails at 2 sliders, and he strikes out, and then the next guy pops out. They don't get a run, and it's in the 3rd inning. Then they lose 4-2, and if they had gotten 1 base hit through 5 or 6 innings like the 90s Yankees, sorry, but that's still the standard, they would have won the game. If they had done it that time or another time or another time or another time. This happens and has happened forever. The extra runner, by the way, where we kind of disagree there, guess what? If you didn't have it, though, in the Yankee thing, I can counter you, Mr. Maiorana, and here's how I can counter you. Because if you didn't have the ghost runner, the Yankees go down 1-2-3, then the White Sox win it quick in the bottom half anyway. How about that? Maybe the game gets done faster. But
because the Yankees have pitched well. So the Yankees would probably match the 0 because they have pitched pretty well.
Not with the tax bullpen in this series, though.
Well, true. You're right. Those 2 games probably would have ended in the 10th.
But see, that's Manfred ball. Manfred ball is just, 10th place Trophy Society playoff teams keep coming. And we're just going to gift you a second baseman, or a runner on second base. We're going to gift it to you in the stupidest way. Let's not just try to do it the real way. And you know what? You rip the All-Star game and you're fine. You don't watch the All-Star game. I don't care. I watch it. I love it. One of the main reasons I love it is because it's real. It's just like the real games during the year. They don't make it artificial unless they were, either they played for the tie or it was, home field advantage was involved. All that stuff made it artificial. The ghost runner is artificial. When you put it on second base, a runner on second, it's not the game. You had to fake something through to make the game not what the game is. The pitch clock, you still watch the game. It's still a game. You're just moving. The pitcher's moving faster. The batter's moving faster to get in there for the next pitch. You didn't make anything artificial. The pitch clock's great but you didn't make anything artificial. Same thing with getting rid of, the red line in hockey. You didn't make anything artificial. You're just making plays extend more. I don't like sports when you make something artificial. And to me, that's what that is. It's artificial.
All right. Well, I call it the free runner. You call it the ghost runner. And
Whatever.
yours is more apt. No, yours is more apt for the Yankees because it literally is a ghost out there. There is no runner out there because we never see him cross the plate. So I should start calling it the ghost runner. You nailed that one. Absolutely, Mike. All right, we're going to wrap it up. This is the series that I dread every year when they play the Cubs because I am a Yankee. Yankees 1A. I am rooting for the Yankees. There's no doubt about it. The Yankees are my number one team. But I do follow the Cubs in the National League. So there's a little bit of that, but I want the Yankees to win all the games. But Mike, you mentioned it. Cubs are good. This seriously could be a 3-game sweep. It could, because the Cubs don't pitch very well, but the way the Yankees offense is right now, that might not matter. And yeah, the Yankees pitch well, true, but the Cubs mash. This team can hit. And if the weather cooperates at Wrigley, meaning the wind's not blowing in 20 miles an hour, this could be a 3-game sweep for the Yankees. I do have that fear going into this thing because the Cubs are pretty good.
Sal always says that. He goes into a series and this is a sweep. I'm dreading it, this and that. And then something happens. The Yankees might fight through, get a win.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong on this one. I really do. Because I'm, like I said, I like the Cubs, but I'm Yankee boy. So I want the Yankees to win this series.
I got 2 little quickies to end. Watch guys on the Cubs, Pete Crow Armstrong, Seiya Suzuki, the way they handle that.
How to play baseball. Know how to play baseball.
Yep, and watch them in the field, the fundamentals, but also watch the contact. They can mash it, they can hit the ball out, but they also hit to contact in important spots. Multiple other guys do that in that lineup, so watch for that this series. It's something the Yankees don't do. And also, I had a chance to talk to Jose Vizcaíno this past weekend in Cooperstown as well. And he just reminded me of the old days. Vizcaíno, Soho, all these role guys the Yankees used to have, the Ricky Ledays, where I'd be like, you know what? I feel as confident sometimes in those guys. Just get a damn ball to the outfield, move somebody over, or at third base, get somebody going. Remember that key hit for Soho in the 2000 World Series, blast up the middle at Shea Stadium. Those kind of hits. I miss those.
Yeah, me too. All right, we will be back after this Yankees-Cubs series, maybe on Sunday afternoon, if not Monday. We appreciate you all being here. Again, like and subscribe to the show. Mike and I are just getting rolling on this thing, and we both have opinions. So if you like opinions and hard-hitting analysis with a few swear words thrown in, this is the place to be. So have a great day, everyone, and try to enjoy Yankee baseball. I know that's a big ask these days, but maybe, just maybe, things will turn around. Have a great day and take care, everybody.